Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be using this nail liquid IV kit, and we are going to be doing some aqua nails, water nails, aquarium nails, baby oil nails, whatever you would like to call them. But here's the kit that I have. This is from Alicia the Nail Doctor, and you can tag her or the Nailology Lab on Instagram. Her packaging is just super cute. Everything is like doctor themed, with all the names and everything. So we have your liquid IV mix, you have your liquid Band-Aid, and then which is like the glue that seals the top and the bottom, and then you have your saline flush, which is basically baby oil or your mixture. There's a bunch of different mixtures you can use, but baby oil is the most common. Yeah. I have a separate thing of baby oil that I used when I was playing around with doing them before. But I also got another sheet. It comes with the sheet on the right, but I bought an additional laminated sheet. You can use plastic wrap on a surface, on a flat surface, but I just use like a laminated sheet. You can buy a laminated folder or whatever, but yeah. There's a QR code where she made a YouTube video, and you can scan the QR code and it actually shows you how to do it. You can also pause and you can screenshot the directions if you'd like to do so. I left this in real time for you guys so you can actually see how to do it. Here's a couple of extra items that you're going to want to have. You're going to want to have a brush. You can use a flat brush, you can use a rounded brush, whatever kind of brush you would like to use, but just make sure it's a gel brush to be able to smooth out your liquid or your liquid IV mix. Also, you're going to want the tips that you're going to want to use for this. This is going to be strictly a content set, so you're going to want to measure and make a little tick mark above your nail for where you want to fill up the liquid. So I am strictly just going to do this for content purposes and to show y'all how to make the set. Now, I have made some that do fit my nails without tips on, but I didn't want to take my nails off or my nail tips off to do this set. So I just decided that I was just going to use tips that were just a little bit longer, and I was just going to fit them over top of my nail tips. So you can do that if you choose to, but you can make them shorter and you can wear them. I have worn a set that's shorter and I don't have any problem. I've only worn them for like about 2 days or so, but it's really just personal preference. The longer the nail, the longer the tank, the more movement. That's all. Also, a tip is to make sure you file the edges right there that I'm showing you. All of the edges that are going to be touching gel, you're going to want to file them because you're going to want an etched surface because gel sticks better to an etched surface. The next thing you're going to need is a flash cure lamp. You can use whatever one you want. I just suggest having one, and you'll see why when we get into doing the nail set. But I like to use this one for MelodySusie. It has become my favorite. I have seen some touch ones that I do want to get. I have another couple of ones that I've been looking at, but this one works. So why not just use it? All right. So you're going to want to make sure your surface is clean. And then your first step is to take your liquid IV mix. Also, when you freshly get it, I would suggest cutting a circle in the middle like this, not necessarily ripping off the entire top part. It just helps with leaking if it happens to tip over or anything like that. It just helps contain the mess. But you're going to want to open it, and you're going to want to put your liquid IV mix on your laminated sheet and just kind of spread it out. It doesn't have to be very neat, but you really don't need a whole lot. You want to make sure that you kind of get your measurement from your tip before you get started with this. And I've kind of been doing this. I've practiced with it a little while, but it's been a while since I've done it. So I do leave a mistake in here that you'll see later when we go to sealing it. I do kind of leave everything in here, and I actually do leave it in real time for you guys to see. Now for this one, I'm just going to do one nail. I'm not going to do all of the nails on this one. I'm going to do one nail by itself. And then I'm going to also show you that you can do multiple nails. You can make multiple tanks at one time. So we're just going to start with making the one. I decided that I was going to go ahead and do the thumb, but I did not etch the thumb because I thought that I was just only going to do one nail on camera. So I went ahead and I filed the backside and the free edge, I made sure that it was all etched so that it would stick to this gel on the bottom. So I want to make sure all the dust is wiped out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that that little etched notch that I did for the length of my nail is at the edge of where the gel is. And you're just going to want to kind of set it there. Now, when I smoothed out the gel on the bottom, I waited for it to completely level out. And then I just laid the nail on there. And you want to gently push down the nail into the gel. If you push too hard, what's going to happen is a couple of things. So, one thing that could happen is that the gel could pool up on the sides and your opening will be very small and narrow, and you will be unable to get the movement that you're looking for and unable to put items inside of the tank. Also, you might not get a really good adherence of the gel to the nail because you have pushed too hard and the nail has went through the gel completely and it's not attached on the edges as it should be. After you've flash cured, then you're going to want to place the laminated sheet or the nail in with the nail on it into your lamp and cure it for a full 60 seconds. After you've cured it for a full 60 seconds, you will be able to remove the nail off of the laminated sheet. I just do a little bit of a wiggle just to kind of release it just a little bit. And then I will use a like a cuticle pusher or something sharp like that just to like break up the edge a little bit. And as you can see, it is super clear. If you look through while I'm cutting off the excess, you can see how clear this gel is. I was like shocked at how clear it was. I mean, I've seen her do this on live several times. I follow her a lot. I watch her make a lot of her aqua nails. I watch a lot of her Instagram videos and stuff like that. But anyway, the liquid is really clear, so it makes your aqua nail very clear. And now we have pretty much the tank. When you cut off the excess, there will be like a little bit on the side, right? So what you do to get that off is you just take a regular hand file. I would not suggest using an e-file. I would suggest just a regular hand file. And I would suggest using the 100 side, which is the grittier side. And you take the nail file and you file towards yourself like I'm doing. I'm not going back and forth. It's not a swiping motion. It is just dragging the nail file towards me. And from there, you're just all it's gonna do is basically cut off that little bit of excess hangover to give the nail like its shape back. Now you don't want to go back and forth because what will happen is you will actually rip off the back side and you will bust the seal. So the back of the tank will start to come off. Now, if it does that, there are ways to fix it. You can just use the next step, the step 2, which is the liquid Band-Aid, and you can just seal it back. But I would just suggest if you're gonna file, just file towards you, file gently, and it will eventually just like even out. So yeah, this is just like I guess the most tedious part of the whole thing is just making sure that the sides are back to shape. Ooh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm in and out with my voice. The pollen is really, really bad here, and my allergies are just like on the fritz right now. So I'm in and out with my voice and my allergies. I have allergy medicine that I take, but y'all, we were outside the other day. Well, me and my kids and I were outside the other day, and this huge pollen cloud hit me like after I just started feeling better from the last cold that I got. And I literally walked into a huge pollen cloud. And since then, my voice has just been going crazy. So yeah, bear with me on this voiceover. I know it's really long and I'm trying my best. It may be like a couple of segments all bunched in here, but I'm trying. I wanted to voice this over. This is why I waited for this video because I just feel like this just requires a voiceover, but my voice is not the best. So bear with me. All right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to do 4 nails, right? So if you're like, can you do all of the nails at one time instead of just doing them one at a time? The answer is yes, you can. So a couple of tips and tricks. So what I would suggest is start off with just an amount you think that might work for all of the nails. Just spread it out evenly like you did with just one nail. And then What you're gonna do is you're just gonna make sure I like to go to the edge of the paper. I mean, you don't have to. Obviously, you can go not all the way to the edge, but I like to go to the edge of the paper just so that I know where the nail is going to lie. Just kind of get yourself like an estimate because when you lay them on there, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you leave enough space so that you're able to cut in between the nails so that you can separate them and then file them. Because if you put them too close together, you're not going to be having a good way to separate them. So you need to be able to cut between them. So just keep that in mind when you're placing them on the mat. So I'm going to place a paper towel underneath. I was just going to set it down on my mat, but I had just filed the thumbnail and I was like, nah, there's going to be a bunch of stuff stuck into it. So I decided to put a paper towel underneath just to make sure that there was going to be nothing sticking to the gel or anything like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my nails in order. I'm going to kind of place them on here. I'll let you guys just kind of watch what I'm doing, but I'm going to space them out so that I'm able to get cut in between them. But you also don't want to waste a whole lot of product. So you want to kind of get them close together, but not super close together, if that makes sense. And you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that tick mark that you made on the nails, where your nail is going to be when you place them on, if you're going to wear them, because you totally can, and I could totally wear these. They're just a little bit long for my taste, but I am working on a set for a medium to long nail length. These are double XL nails, and I know that they're impractical for most people, at least I know for myself, but I am working on a way to do it with like medium to long, and I can wear medium to long length. I usually prefer to wear a medium length nail. So I'm working on that process now, and once I perfect it, I'll come back and show you guys a step-by-step video. But for now, this is just literally how to make them. If you're interested in playing around or trying this out. So now we are going to gently press down, very gently, very light pressure. And we're just going to flash cure all of them. Now that we've got them on there, we've got them separated, we've got them where we want them, everything works. And all 4 nails are on there. So after I've done this, I will have all 5 nails ready to go and ready to continue the process. So just give them a quick flash cure. I do it until the flash cure light runs off, which is usually about 30 seconds. And then I place the entire sheet into my lamp for 60 seconds. And then I just let it fully cure. We'll be done with the liquid IV mix, and then we'll be ready to remove the nails from the sheet. Now they're all going to come off in one piece. So all 4 nails will be connected and they will be all set. So the backs will be on all of them and they will be ready to be cut apart. Now you can use whatever scissors you want to use. I use these little scissors just because they're really sharp and they're really skinny. But they're not as long, so I have to flip back and forth to be able to cut the section fully. So, it's really just however you would like to disconnect them. I just choose to use these scissors because they're very thin and very skinny, which allows me to put the nails closer together to waste less product. So after you've just disconnected, I guess, you've taken all the nails apart from each other, you're going to want to do the same process of cutting off the excess of the nails and then filing all of the edges. Now, I think I maybe leave in one more nail of filing, but I feel like the filing is pretty self-explanatory. You always want to make sure that you are filing towards yourself. You do not ever want to file the other way, just because the chances of you ripping the back off the tank or busting it, making a hole in the tank is very, very great if you do that. Just keep that in mind, that we only want to file one direction. So yeah, just really keep that in mind. Also be careful when you're cutting the excess off that you don't get too terribly close, because what can happen is you can also bust the seal. Our goal is to keep the shape of the nail, but to not break the seal. Because if you break the seal, then the oil will fall out, and once the oil starts leaking, it's pretty much a disaster. But as you see, the excess is filing off. Sometimes you can get the excess to file off in one gigantic piece along the side like that, which I think is really cool. It rarely happens to me. I usually get it in a couple of pieces, but you can file it file it off relatively easy. It's not hard at all. So you just file until you get the shape back that you would like, and you don't need to file on top of the nail or on the back of the nail. You just literally need to file on the side just to get that shape back. So after you've done that, you're pretty much ready to seal it up. Now, I do leave this last nail in there, I think, of the filing, just because I was like, for me, this is the most boring part, just because it's just really repetitive. It's not really fun. You kind of get what I'm doing. I really don't even like to do this part. I feel like the making of the tank is like the most boring part, but once you get to the part of filling it all in, it's much more fun. So I went ahead and I filed them all off camera, got the shape back, got the edges all nice, and we are ready to seal them up. So I didn't want to seal them up without you guys. And this is actually my first time using this particular kit. I have tried other things before, but this is my first time using this particular kit. So I wanted to make sure to do it with y'all. All right, so now we're going to take our liquid Band-Aid. We're going to take our gel brush again. I did clean my gel brush off. I just put a little bit of alcohol on a lint-free wipe and I just wiped it out. I didn't do anything special. That's all that I did with it. We've got our flash cure light ready to go. And we are just going to squeeze some. Now there are two ways that you can seal them up. You can seal the top or you can seal the bottom. I think I'm going to try a different way to seal them next time I do this and see if that works better for me. But you're going to pour or squirt out some of the gel on the edge, and you are just going to drag it up so that it seals the bottom. And as you see, the gel is not wandering anywhere. It's not moving. You pretty much have all the time you need to flash cure it. So after you've got the gel all sealed with no holes or pockets or missing parts, you're just going to want to flash cure it. You'll only need a few seconds, and then the bottom is sealed. After we have done that flash cure to all of them, I'm going to place them all in my lamp for 60 seconds to make sure that they are fully sealed. So I started with the smallest nail so that I could just kind of get like a general feel for how much gel to squeeze out, because I haven't done it with this kit. Like I said before, I haven't tried it yet with this kit, with this type of gel. I haven't tried this, but I've done this way to seal them before. And for me, it just always is a disaster. So yeah, it didn't turn out that bad, but I did mess up one coming up. I think it was the index finger that I do mess up. But as you see, it's not that hard to swipe. But the bigger the nail gets, the more gel you have to try to figure out how much gel you need to cover the hole so that there are no leaks. Because once you start getting a leak in the aqua nail, it's pretty much like a blind hunt for the hole. And it is really hard sometimes to find where the oil is coming from and seal it up. And then with the oil leaking, it's everywhere. So it's just really, really good practice to try to get it all sealed up on the first try versus having to go hunt for where it is and seal it up after everything's all oily. And then once the nail is sealed up on both sides, then you have where the oil is coming out. When the oil comes out, air gets in, and then the bigger the air bubble gets inside the nail. So this part is really important, the sealing of the tank and making the tank, especially the bottom. I usually have more of a hard time with the top part sealing. Just because there's oil already in it, and sometimes I squeeze the nail a little bit and the oil comes out and it's hard to seal when the oil is right there. But yeah, so I had got an air bubble over there, and I really was just trying to get the air bubble out that I saw because I wasn't really liking it. So I just ended up taking an orange wood stick and I just kind of like move it to the corner over there. It doesn't get it completely out, but it just moves it to the corner so that it is not really noticeable. It really isn't going to be noticeable anyway, but I just wanted to see if I could pop it, and it wasn't really popping, so I just kind of left it because it wasn't going to make a hole or anything like that. So yeah. And as you see, while I was messing with that, the gel did not seep down the nail. It didn't move around, which I really do like, because having a gel that stays put like that is very important, especially when the nail is upside down and all of that. So I did appreciate that. I really do like that aspect of it. Also, there's another fun fact about this gel that we will see very soon. But before we do that, the next nail is this one where I have a problem. And I just want you guys to kind of watch how I troubleshoot it. So here we go with me thinking that I've got this, I can do this, no problem. I've got this method down. I am a pro, but like, I don't know what happened when I went to do this. It just did not work. Like, I was like, what the heck happened? I looked at it and realized that there was a clump on the one side. And then I was like, there is a hole in the middle and there is a clump on one side. Like, what is even happening right now? I was just like very confused. So I ended up having to take the gel out because I was like, there's no way. Like, you see the huge hole, like all the gel is pulled up on one side. So I really didn't want that. So then I had to take an orange wood stick very carefully and scrape out as much of the gel as I could, and then basically reseal that because I don't know what was going on with this one nail. Like this one nail, um, I am going to fully disclose that I did have to redo this nail in like completely because when I was doing it, I ended up getting a hole somewhere which let air bubbles seep in, and I just was not happy with the nail, so I actually had to redo the whole nail. So, yeah, just gonna disclose that. The hole came back again, and I was like, what the heck is going on with this nail? Like, why is this one going like this? So I went ahead and I just sealed up what I could. And I went ahead and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna freaking flash cure this and we'll just try to seal it up like twice. So I got it the best that I could for the moment with what was happening. Because I was like, obviously, this just wants to be difficult. This one right here just wants to be difficult. So I get it sealed up the best that I can for the moment. And I do leave this in real time for y'all. Like I said, all of this is real time. So you guys can kind of see me like struggling or my whole process really. But the struggle with this nail, like how to fix it if this happens to you. But also I wanted to throw out there, I do choose to seal up the bottom because sealing up the bottom it's larger down there. So it's less likely for me to get an air bubble if I'm sealing up the bottom first because it's bigger, so it's less of a surface for me to have to try to close when there's oil already in it. If that makes sense. I choose to do the bottom because it's less likely for me to get a large air bubble. Though I'm going to try it the other way. I'm going to try it a couple of different ways to see which way works better for me. But if you're also trying to put larger items in, it would be better to seal the bottom last because you could put larger items in the bottom versus the top if you're using a coffin shaped nail. Or if you're doing a stiletto, you don't have any choice but to load it from the bottom. So, yeah. But anyway, I ended up putting an extra layer like you guys saw so that I made sure that it was completely sealed. And I was still really iffy about that nail, and I was right to be because it didn't end up working right. So I ended up trashing that whole nail anyway and just redoing it completely. And I did end up not having any problems the next time that I did it. So sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Yes, it does feel kind of like a waste when I have to waste all of that product just for the nail not to work, but it's still fun to learn. And this was just my first time playing with the kit, so I wasn't surprised that I messed up one. But it was really easy to work with. Everything was like really user friendly. Even if I didn't know how to do it, I could have read the directions and been perfectly okay with it. All right, so we are on the last nail. The thumbnail worked beautifully. I'm going to flash cure it, and then I'm going to put everything in my big lamp for 60 seconds, and then we are going to be ready to move on to the next step. All right, so when it came to themes of doing the nails, I decided that I was going to do a fruit themed set because I was wanting to use some of these clay pieces, these Fimo clay things. But yeah, these are just content nails to show the process. I'm not going to wear them. They are obnoxiously long. Yes, I get that. If you like them, great. If you don't, also great. These are just really to show the process. They're fun to make. A lot of people do competition pieces that I really love. They're like 10-inch nails, and I don't know. I love them. I think the art process of it is so fun. So here's just some of the items that I'm going to be using. I don't end up using the foils in this one, but I am going to use them in another set that I do because the foils in there look really cool. Also, caviar beads are really good additions to the nails. I need to pick up some pixie crystals for sure because they help move it around. They give it the nails, the inside, that little bit of a weight that makes the everything in it move around a little bit better. So just keep that in mind as you're loading it up, that you're going to want them to move. So you want something just a little bit heavier as well. Pixie crystals are an amazing way to go. I know that a lot of places sell them. You can get different colors, but I just like to use the clear or the AB pixie crystals. So I'm going to show you guys one nail. I'm going to do the pinky. I'm going to do the pinky with the dragon fruit. I have 5 fruits. My kids helped me pick them from the little clays that they saw, and those are the ones that I did. So I am opening the saline flush. This is my first time using that. Well, I don't know how many times I'm going to tell you it's my first time using the kit, but obviously if it's my first time using the kit, it's my first time using this too. But it does come sealed. You do have to break off this little part, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to break off this part. It keeps it sealed while in transit and stuff. And then once you do, it pops open really nice. The bottle is resealable or reusable, so you can put baby oil in the bottom if you would like when you're done with it. So yeah. What I'm going to do now is I sometimes like to put a little bit of baby oil in the bottom just to make sure that the nail is sealed on the bottom. Because if the nail is not sealed, then you'll have a lot of leaking. And I like to find out if I have any leaking going on before I fill it up with everything in it. So I like to put the baby oil in the bottom, which is this is a saline flush. I don't know why I keep calling it baby oil. I should just call it what the name says on the bottle. But I also use this cute little bottle holder to hold my nails because obviously I can't hold them and pour stuff in them all the time. So I use this little holder. It holds it at an angle, doesn't let it spill, but I use that little holder. It's very convenient, very lovely. I will leave the link in the description box for this little watermelon holder. It's awesome. I'm going to be showing it off in my next video along with the press-on stand that matches it. So yeah, stay tuned for that. All right, so I decided to do dragon fruit for this one. The little fruit pieces were just fitting. I was just like sizing them out before to make sure that they would fit in there before actually like shoving them in there because like really once your stuff is in there, it's not the easiest to get out. So make sure that you are wanting the stuff to go in there before you actually put it in there because the chances of you like getting it out are really less likely than getting it in there. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to filling up your nails, you don't want to make them too full because then they won't move around a lot. You probably want to fill them up like maybe at the most like a third of the way because if you fill them up too much, then it's just going to be too much going on. Unless you're doing a glitter nail, like I don't know if any of you follow Cassie Payne. She is on TikTok. She has a shop. She's in the UK. She does these fine glitter nails when she like paints on top, and the fine glitter is like the dress. So it's like the movement. Oh, it's so pretty. I will link her in the description box. And yeah, y'all have got to check her out. She does like she fills up the entire thing with glitter and like a glycerin mix. I think it's glycerin and contact solution that she puts together to make it like flow like very magically. I love that and I have got to try that. I have seen it done by her so many times now and I just love the look. But if that's not the look you're going for, if you want it to flow and be kind of clear and sheer and stuff, just make sure you don't fill it up all the way. Um, so yeah, going back to what I said about being in real time, I did kind of speed this up because I was just putting stuff in the nail and it was really, really slow, especially seeing as how you see how I had to put the uh, caviar beads in there. It like really took a long time. So I went ahead and was just kind of like putting everything in the nail. This was just like my trial nail, and I didn't end up liking how these flakes looked in there. So I only put them in, I think this one, I think I put them in one other one, but I liked the sheer look, but also I didn't want to put too much in because I am going to be putting a jelly polish on the back of these. I'm not going to leave them clear because I wanted to make it look like a fruit jello type nail set. But yeah, anyway, you just kind of like load them up however you want. You put whatever you want in there, and then you fill the rest of the way with the saline flush, and then you're going to seal the top. So fill it up to your heart's content with whatever you want, really. It's all really just like trial and error. You can look at, if you go to the Nailology Lab on Instagram or TikTok. I think she's posting a lot more on Instagram, but she does have a TikTok as well. Alicia the Nail Doctor. I'll leave all that information in the description box so y'all can go check out the videos, the shorts, all the people I'm talking about. I'll make sure to leave everybody in the description box so that you guys can go check out way more fun nails than these. But I just wanted to keep it really simple, to the point, something that was really fun and summary. But I've learned a lot from those ladies, just kind of like watching, but watching and doing are two separate things. But I wanted to just show you from a very, very beginner viewpoint of doing them versus somebody that like is an expert in doing them and does them all the time. Just like showing you my way that I do it. And I leave in everything. And now I'm just kind of like checking the flow just to make sure I have everything in there, make sure it flows good. You can give it a little flick, make sure that everything's flowing good. And once you're happy with how much is in there, with the colors that are in there, with everything in there, you're going to want to seal it up. So I was happy with everything there. So it's time for me to put the rest of the oil in. Now, I personally don't like a bubble in my aqua nails. There are some people that like a little bubble. There are some people that like a big bubble. And depending on the look that you're going for, is the size of the bubble that you're going to want. So this is literally a personal preference. I choose to usually have either a very small bubble or no bubble. Now, the bubble can help make the stuff move around a little bit. So keep that in mind as well. But the bubble is just a personal preference. Now, if you accidentally get a bubble, then yeah, it'll be okay. It's not the end of the world. It won't look ridiculous. Now we are going to take the liquid band-aid. And this part is the hardest part for me. And I am going to find a better way to do this because this for me is not it. I don't know. This just does not work for me. So you want to squeeze a little bit across the top. You move kind of fast and you flash cure it. Now, my problem is what happens is it seeps into the nail, kind of, like a little bit down in or on the back or something. And I just don't move fast enough or something. I don't know. But yeah, this is the hardest part for me, sealing the top part. And then after you seal the top part, you want to give it like a little pinch test. I usually let it go for the whole time. And I give it a little pinch test. So you see I wipe it off a little bit to make sure there's no oil. And here is another thing I love about this oil. If you have done aqua nails and you flip it over right after you're done curing it, and then you flip it back, the stuff will stick. Now, that is my biggest pet peeve of doing the aqua nails before this kit, was what I was using. It was when I would flip it over and it wasn't cooled, it would stick either to the bottom or it would stick to the top. But I want y'all to see that y'all watched me flip it over immediately after curing and there is nothing stuck to the top. I was so happy. If there's nothing more that frustrates me is having beads stick to the top. Like, I don't like them to stick. And then if they're stuck, they're stuck. There's no getting them off. There's nothing. They're stuck because it's a gel. They'll stick. So with this kit, you do not have to worry about the beads or any of your stuff inside the nail getting stuck. So, amen to that. I love that. I'm here for that. That is a very important part for me. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the other nails. I do grape. I do strawberry, grape, watermelon, limes on the other nails. So here they are. All of the nails are done. Very fast, wasn't it? But do you see how super clear they are? You could just leave them clear like that as far as like the edge. But you're going to definitely want to for sure do from the bottom seal line down just to make sure that you don't have that weird look right there. But I decide that I want to put a jelly on the back of them. I wanted them to look like the Jello nails. So I'm going to kind of show you guys how they look. I wanted to get all of the fruit stuff down to the bottom so that you guys could kind of watch them flow. Now you can flick them a little bit just to get the stuff to move a little bit better. Like I was saying, with the bubble, they work a little bit differently. And I don't have as many heavier items in there, so they don't flow as smooth as I would like them to. But all in all, I feel like they're really cool. They show the process, they worked really well. But now I wanted you guys to just kind of watch them flow. So there's that way. And then I just wanted to flip it over. It's really hard from this angle as well, but this is not a complete up and down. I'm doing it over top. So it's like a directly over top. It's not like a down, so they're not completely up and down. But I wanted to show you guys the movement in them so that you guys can kind of see them. I just thought it looked really cool. I thought it was really fun. And yeah, so I did all those off camera. You can load them, like I said, with anything you want. And yeah, that's pretty much all that you do as far as like sealing them up. Now, painting them, totally whatever you want to do. People have made lava lamps. People have made crystal balls. Really anything liquid that you can kind of think of. People have made aquariums. And you can pretty much put whatever you want inside of them. I know Alicia, the nail doctor, sculpts her tiny little pieces she puts in there, which I think is amazing. So yeah, just really have fun with them. This is just a new, like a creative, something creative. Just kind of do your own thing. So I just decided to do the fruits. I don't think that I record doing any of the colors on them because this video wasn't for that process. This video was just to show you how to do the aquanail, and basically the aquanail is complete. All you gotta do is kind of paint on it. So I really hope that y'all give the kit a try if you've ever wanted to try them. This kit is very affordable, very beginner friendly, and yeah. So I was going to use some of these clays in this video, but I am going to use the clays. I'm going to make some fruit animals. So I'm going to be posting those on my shorts, and I may record some of them, but I'm going to be posting them separately from this video. But here's what I decided to do for the set. I love how they turned out. They are so fun. They're so pretty. Ended up doing 2 layers of jelly color on the back, and then I ended up doing the jelly on the front bottom half, and then I put a unicorn glitter, which is just like a sheer flaky type glitter on the base area because I just felt like it gave it that little bit of a pizzazz because I'm going to be putting those animals on there, so you're not really going to be able to see it much anyway. But this is all for the set. You could totally leave it here. They make for a super fun set. I put them on and went outside and I took some videos with them. They look really obnoxious because of how long they are, if I'm being honest, but I really didn't want to take off the nails I had on just to do this set. So doing them over top of them was fine for me because I really just wanted to show the process. I really wasn't even going to put them on to show you guys the end result, but I figured we waited this long to see them. So why not just put them on with some sticky tabs and show you guys how they look on me? Keep in mind, I have like really tiny hands. So my hands are really like child size. My 13-year-old's hands are almost as big as my hands. I think they're like maybe a couple of millimeters smaller. But yeah, I'm going to put them on my hand, and I actually do leave in some of the footage of that. Now, not putting them on, but I do leave on some of the footage. But with the nails being darker underneath, I feel like you can see just a tad bit through the jelly color. But I wanted you guys to also see that the measurements I did were accurate, and I was still able to put these on over top of my tips that I had on. And they're really fun. They're actually not even that heavy. I thought they were going to be heavier, but they are not as heavy as I thought they were going to be. So yeah, what I'll probably do next time is I'll probably use like a medium stiletto, and I'll probably do some lava lamp nails. I think that'd be really fun. Or do something with like a stiletto shape, show you guys how to do a stiletto shape. But yeah, these were really fun to make. The kit was super easy to use. I love it. I don't have a code with her. I know a couple of people do. So if you go to the Nailology Lab and go look at like who tags her and stuff, you can look at, she has some like ambassadors that have codes and stuff if you want to save some money. But yeah, here they are up close. They are so pretty. I just love how they turned out. My kids love them too. My kids have been playing with them. They like to just turn them up and down. But anyway, here are the nails. They are on my hands. They are really long, as you guys can kind of see. And I wanted you guys to see underneath the nails or top of my nails that I currently had on, and they were really pretty, but they are really long. I would not wear these anywhere out this length because that is obnoxious to me. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's something a little bit different. Not my normal type of content, but fun content nonetheless. I do plan on trying out my way to do it on shorter nails, probably on medium to long nails. So I'm going to be working on that. So expect that at some point. But yeah, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts? Do you have a favorite nail? Do you like the process? Let me know your thoughts. Leave them down in the description box. In the description box. I always say that. I do not mean leave it in the description box. Leave it in the comments section. But yeah. Here's how I take them off. They are just on with sticky tabs and they come off, and yeah, I'll let my kids just play with them because they're fun. They're sealed. They like watching them. They've all picked their own nail. So yeah. Thanks again for hanging out with me. I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you like this video. I hope you check out the kit. Next week, stay tuned. I think it's going to be some more fruit nails. But yeah, I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy your week. Have a beautiful day, and I will catch you on the next video.